Hello everyone, time to go around the garden now and start looking for seeds that you can cut and dry ready for next year or even plant. So we start off with this one here. These were the lupins, and as you can see they've started to dry. They've formed these little bulbs and little seeds inside, and what I'll do is I'll just put this down. I usually carry these around with me because I put any seeds I want, I put them in an envelope, mark them, and I know exactly what they are. So this is the inside of a lupin, and as you can see they form these little pea-like bulbs, seeds inside. They're not quite ripe, so what you could do is leave them on a bit longer, or you can take a few off and let them dry, and then the outer casing will come off and you can save them for next year or plant them for this year. I'll show you some of the planting techniques a little later on, but those I will leave till a little later on. And as we go around the garden we'll see a few more here. These are the Aquilegias, and as you can see they've all turned brown on the tops, just beginning to open. So I'll show you what happens when you actually take one off. You cut it like that, and if you tip them upside down, I'll put them on a piece of paper, you see all the little seeds, and there we are. That's from one seed head, so you've got quite a lot. It will depend on how many you want. I don't save all of them. I usually sort of cut one or two heads off and then cut the rest of them down and save those then ready for next year. So I'll save those, but also what I do when I'm doing the Aquilegias, if you come along to this one here, when I cut the seed heads off, I actually cut the whole plant right down to the bottom. And as you can see, once the whole plant is taken away, the top growth is taken away, you will have some new growth coming from there. So later in the summer, in about 3 weeks time, you will have another lot of foliage which will look like that, but it'll just be green. They won't flower again this year, but you will have a lot of foliage there. So I do that with all of my Aquilegias now this time of the year, and then it gives you a bit of extra space then for planting more plants. So as we go around, we keep looking. Some of the plants that, like this Alstroemeria here, those are still in flower. These are the seed heads. There, you see, there and there. But they're not too difficult, but they're not very easy to grow. So if you want to let them ripen, you see those heads there, they get bigger and bigger and then they go brown. Then all you do is then you cut them off, you plant them, and then it'll take about 6 to 8 months for them to germinate. But usually they're grown from little pieces of the roots themselves, but you can save the seed from those. Then as we go around, as you can see in the background there, we have the Honesty, which were flowering early spring. They're now just ripe enough to be able to be picked, and there are two different colours. That one was a white one, and as you can see, that was the white one, and the darker stems, that was pink. So one way of trying to hopefully decide which is which, the darker the stems, usually that's pink and that is white. And again with these, all we do is take off one of the little outer bits. If you peel them around the edge there like that, and then open up the center. People usually use these for little dried displays in their vases during the winter time, but you can see these are the size of the seeds, and you usually get there's another lot on the other side. There's usually about 6 to 8 seeds in there, but as you can see those are quite large seeds. So again, put them in an envelope or a brown paper bag or any container, but not plastic, no plastic bags, and then you can plant those either straight in the garden. You can sprinkle them around the garden, or you can plant them individually into little pots or trays, and then you have some more seeds for next year. So there we go, that's those. And as we work our way around, We then have this geranium. It's a hardy geranium and they grow very easily from seed. And as you can see, these are the seed heads. All these little ones here are seed heads. And as they begin to dry, like that one there, they form little tiny little bulbs. Well, not bulbs, but little seed heads at the end. At the end there, you see, that's the little seed head. So you can save them, which is what I usually do, or you can literally sprinkle them in the garden. They are quite small though, but they will get brown and they will fall by themselves as time goes on. They're different stages of ripening, but you can see they're like little almost like little umbrellas, and as they fall they begin to open. So they can be sprinkled around the garden and then they will grow wherever they are, or you can save them and take them into the house. So that's to be done now. A few other plants then that you can actually save your seeds from. These here are aconite, Aconitum monkshood. As you can see, the plant has died, but if I cut that off there and literally if I turn that upside down, I should get lots of seeds. There we are. So that's quite a lot of seeds that you can have for next year, and even with just one seed head, but you can grow as many as you like. They don't grow so easily if you sprinkle them in the garden. They tend to be better off if you actually put them in a seed tray or into pots. So again, put them into a little paper bag and then label them and take them in for later. So I shall store those for now. As we go around, I'll have a look for some more. The lilies are just going over. I see they're just flowering. They are just finishing. If you want to save the seeds, you can, but they take a long time to grow from seed. So what I do is, these would be the seed pods. So I just literally take them off. I cut them right down to the end, each one of them, because you just as well to let the plant have all the goodness rather than make seeds and then leave that as it is. The goodness will dry down and it'll replenish the bulb for next year. So again, all of these, cut them out just to tidy the plant up. But if you want to try growing seeds, fine, but it is quite a long-term thing to do. While we're here, I thought I'd show you some of the dahlias. I get asked about how do you know when a dahlia is finished flowering. Well, with this one, you'll see that one is just beginning to open, because you can see the shape of the head. Flowers are quite fresh and strong. That one has formed like a little bit of a cone shape, and that one has actually died and finished. So what you do is you cut that one right down to the bottom, and then obviously you get these lovely blooms afterwards. So always check that the opening bloom looks like that, and you can tell the difference. And then the other one is literally a cone shaped. So you'll see the difference between the two when you cut them. I keep cutting them off as much as you can. And these are the Welsh poppies, and as you can see, these are just beginning to open. And the way to tell if they are going to seed is, that's your flower, and then you've got that shape, which is the end of the flowering period, and that is the seed head, and will be gradually begin to ripen. And as they ripen, you see this brown with lots of little holes in the top, and obviously the whole stem is brown. And as you tip it up, you can see there we are, lots and lots of poppy seeds. So there's quite a lot in just one small head. You can either sprinkle them straight in the garden, or you can actually put them into a seed tray and grow them on for next year. So easily done. These are the foxgloves. Obviously that's the last flower that is there. I cut the big stem down originally because it was about 4 foot high, and I left just a few little seed heads on there, so that hopefully now when I peel these off, they should be full of seeds. And as you can see, there's quite a few there. Take that out of your way. Quite a few seeds there. I'll do a couple more. Just squeeze them a little bit, and there we are. There's plenty of seeds through there, and you can just, again, these can be scattered or put into trays, and then you will have different mix of colours. You'll never know what colour you like. Generally, if the leaves are very pale, they are white, but when they're darker, tend to be darker foliage, they tend to be pink, but there's no guarantee. So again, I'll show you how to sow these a little later on.